The health department sees COVID-19 cases climbing to up to 18,000 per day by the end of the year, once the policy allowing for the optional use of face masks indoors is in place. Officer in charge Maria Rosario Vergara said they presented several scenarios on the impact of the eased mask mandate, including a possible climb in daily cases from 2,500 up to the 18,000 level by November or December. Vergara added that they recommended a pilot study be conducted before the actual implementation of the policy. The acting health chief also warned of the emergence of new Omicron subvariants, which could push up infections. With this, the DOH noted the importance of bivalent vaccines, which are upgraded vaccines that target both the original COVID-19 strain and Omicron subvariants. Moderna and Pfizer are already in the process of completing their documents for registration, so their bivalent vaccines can be distributed in hospitals. But for now, Vergara says no brand offering the bivalent vaccine has been awarded a certificate of product registration.
Wala pa hong nilalabas na in terms of kung sino dapat yung populasyon na bibigyan. Pero of course, lumabas na rin naman dun sa ibang articles from the other countries na inuuna nila yung mga vulnerable. Katulad po ng ating healthcare workers, katulad po ng mga nakakatanda, yun pong may mga comorbidities.
To talk to us more about these bivalent vaccines, we have vaccine expert panel head Dr. Nina Gloriani. She's joining us over Zoom. Good evening, Dr. Gloriani.
Yes, good evening, Robbie and Sean, again, and to all of you there.
Ma'am, bivalent vaccines, how is this different from the vaccines that people already know, and for that matter, the booster shots that they may have already gotten?
But they're saying now, kasi bi means two, no? Bi, dalawa yung laman. The original one, now they refer to as monovalent, which means the original strain, the Wuhan strain, is the formulation for that vaccine. So itong bivalent contains the ancestral, the original strain, plus the variant specific. And initially, yung variant specific na nilagay nila was the Omicron 1, BA.1. But eventually, the US FDA required that the manufacturers, especially Pfizer and Moderna, produce or develop the more parang variant specific at that time for the circulating variants BA4 and 5. So that is what is currently being used now.
So ma'am, I think bottom line lang naman that people want to know. Diba? So ibig sabihin ba nun, mas magaling to na booster, and for that matter, should we wait?
Don't know. Actually, maybe I should refer to the WHO, the World Health Organization, SAGE, Strategic Advisory Group of Experts on Immunization, where they're saying that we should not wait, and there are not enough sufficient data to show that there should be a preferential recommendation for the bivalent. So actually, there were two preprints that came out, I think, a few days ago, about the neutralizing antibodies generated against either the wild type or the variant-specific vaccines, and they were not really very much different from each other. So ibig sabihin, if there is an increase in the antibodies, neutralizing antibodies against the variants, the B4, B5, that was not very high and maybe not significant. But of course, there are other studies that would counter that. But this is the most updated one that we actually show. So what the WHO wants is to give the booster, if there are eligible people, to give the first booster, we're talking about first boosters pa lang muna, because we're only about 25% covered, no, with boosters, as soon as possible without waiting. We really do not know if these bivalent vaccines will come. Of course, DOH is preparing hard for that. We're waiting for the applications to be, submitted for consideration for technical evaluation. So, yes, definitely it gives more antibodies, maybe higher, a little more, but there are data to show that the original one is still good.
Right. I just want to add on to what you just said and to what Robbie just said, because a lot of people, of course, they've heard news from the United States that these new vaccines are coming out, and so they'd rather wait for it rather than get the boosters, hoping that by Q1 or Q2 next year we'll get these new bivalent vaccines. But how effective, Dr. Gloriani, are these old vaccines, or the monovalent vaccines as you call them, against these new emerging subvariants?
Yes, so they have actually tested antibodies from those who received the wild type vaccines and antibodies from those who received the bivalent, the variant-specific vaccines. And as I was saying, there was very small difference in the neutralizing antibodies generated that would bind these variants now. But of course, you would expect that little difference would be, in numbers, it will be high. So, and it will also be good or effective for as long as the variants circulating will still be the same Omicron. But we do not know that. We do not know how the virus will evolve. It's a very, very difficult situation that we have now. The virus, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, is so complicated. We do not know how it will evolve. But for now, we're good because it's all Omicron children or subvariants of Omicron. But we do not know if there will be a new one.
Okay, maraming salamat po for your insights. Vaccine Expert Panel Head, Dr. Nina Gloriani.